From the Beaver County Auto studios up above Market Square here in downtown Pittsburgh, this is a Steelers short version of Mic Drop right here on Pittsburgh Sports Live. I am your host, Mike Asti, and like sands through the hourglass, these are Le'Veon Bell's days away from the Pittsburgh Steelers. That's right, Le'Veon Bell still away from the Pittsburgh Steelers as I record this, as you likely consume it for the next few weeks. Despite the report from Jeremy Fowler of ESPN a few weeks ago, and despite the continuous questions to Mike Tomlin at our weekly press conferences that I attend, Le'Veon Bell did not report to the Pittsburgh Steelers and will not be reporting to the Pittsburgh Steelers during their bye week here in Week 7. Coming off a win against Cincinnati, they're riding high, but no. All the conversation and more drama around the Pittsburgh Steelers is that Le'Veon Bell still not there. Rumors that maybe they couldn't come to terms on a 2-week exemption. What was going on there? One of the best, one of the godfathers, Ed Bouchette of the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. There it is. This just in from a Steelers source. The Steelers are not expecting Le'Veon Bell to show up this week despite previous reports. So, Ed Bouchette giving it to you there in the flesh, and no Le'Veon Bell one more week. No collecting of game checks for Le'Veon Bell, as he'll apparently be missing more game checks. Over $6 million now, I believe that's the math. Le'Veon Bell now still not there, and the interesting part about this with Le'Veon, I kind of get it, to be honest, and I've been one of the few to defend him in some ways, that if he wasn't going to play any of these games to this point, why play now unless you just obviously don't want to keep missing the game checks? And you might as well wait until week 11, or it would kind of take away from your whole perspective and make you a little bit of a hypocrite, which I guess wouldn't be surprising for many Steeler fans. But the fan base hates you now. The teammates have already bashed you and don't really love you, even though, of course, they'd welcome somebody back who's in their locker room and can help the team win, and they could certainly still use him despite the success of James Conner on the field replacing him. But week 11 is when you collect your free agency season. Why come back before that unless you just want to collect these checks, or else you want to care about your teammates? And obviously his top priority is not caring about his teammates, or else he wouldn't have missed these games to this point. And it's all about the money for him. It's all about collecting the bag. He wants the bag. He wants nothing else. He doesn't care about winning a championship. He doesn't care about his teammates. Doesn't care about respect. Doesn't care about you, the fans, the Pittsburgh Steelers fans or Steeler Nation. Cares about nothing else but the bag. And if he's traded and that team won't give him the bag in a new contract and a guaranteed money of $30, $40+ million, I'd imagine he wouldn't re-sign there and then would be looking for a new place to play. And if that team or any other team in the league, and he'll have suitors, he has value, if they don't want to give him the bag, then he won't want to play there either. And if I put up a sports league out there and I offer him the bag and I offer him tons of millions upon millions upon millions of guaranteed money, he'd probably play for me over playing in the National Football League, because all Le'Veon Bell cares about is the bag, and all he wants is the money. That's it. Evident again by no Le'Veon Bell here in Week 7. I even had a show planned where I was going to welcome a former Steeler and a co-host of mine on another outlet to come here and give the players' perspective on Le'Veon Bell returning and what that would be like and how you would handle that. Well, that show is put off for several weeks because still here in Week 7, the bye week, when it's supposed to be a calming around Steeler Nation, there's still drama. It's off-the-field drama, and I don't even mean Vontaze Burfict and Big Ben's comments. I'm talking about a player that hasn't played in any of these games, so he hasn't had to concern himself with Vontaze Burfict or anything else going on, and that's Le'Veon Bell, who is still not there. But the Steelers did get a win, and they got a win in spite of Vontaze Burfict headhunting. They got a win off the game-winning touchdown from AB. But one other part that got them the win, the success of James Conner. Just ask Le'Veon Bell. Damn, James, he tweeted. There was no little emojis. There was no other sarcastic comments or subtle jabs when the Steelers would tie or have lost games throughout the season. No. One of the best games for James Conner. One of the best games for the Steelers. A big staple win against a divisional opponent. Going into the bye, and Le'Veon Bell couldn't deny it with a damn James tweet out there, kind of throwing his dap to James Conner, who's replaced him. And James Conner doesn't have the bag. I mean, he has a contract in the NFL. He makes more than me and you, probably, but he doesn't have the bag. He doesn't have the guaranteed money that Le'Veon Bell wants and won't play without. And I get that you want to get as much money as you can. I get your market value. I get trying to bet on yourself and not wanting to risk more tread on your tires and wanting to not maybe have those car crashes and kill yourself and have an Earl Thomas situation, which probably legitimized everything in Le'Veon Bell's mind on him not playing this year, especially when he knew that the Steelers and him had parted ways. And I have said, and many have criticized, but I even get being upset and a little bitter when Todd Gurley gets so much guaranteed money offered and David Johnson gets so much guaranteed money offered in comparison to what the Steelers offered you, despite your injuries and despite your suspensions and off-the-field antics that maybe they did not have. But you want the money. You want to cash in. I get that. You want to be paid for your value and what you offer, and it was as a running back and as a receiver, and you were doing it all when you were healthy and went on the field. But let me put you this way, Le'Veon. Here's the problem. We're now at the bye. We're now at week 7, midway point about. Steelers are getting better. The offense is clicking. They're winning games. They got a divisional win now. They're still clearly in the playoff hunt and the divisional hunt, whether it be a weak conference, a weak division, or the fact that they could beat Baltimore when they play again, and they did beat the Bengals, and they didn't lose to Cleveland, even though it wasn't a win, so they're right there. But you bet on yourself because you wanted your market value and you didn't want to kill yourself when you knew you were leaving this team and you didn't want to risk a future chance at the bag and at that money. You bet on yourself, though, and lost. It's been said through the media, and I've defended you more than anybody. I've been the heel on this subject, and the fan base hates me for it. Not surprising. But I'm just telling you the truth, and I really have been just articulating your position that maybe some don't want to articulate or weirdly don't understand it as much, even the national media. I get into this with Andrew Brandt, former executive with Green Bay. He didn't seem to get it. He wanted someone to explain it to him. I did. He replied to me. He gets it a little bit more now, but still disagrees. It's just understanding the perspective, and I have been almost your defense attorney in understanding your perspective and trying to convey it. But you bet on yourself, and you lost. Why did you lose? For a guy I've been critical of. For a guy that I didn't expect this from. For a guy that I made a bet with another colleague of mine and lost, and will have to figure out something I'm going to do to embarrass myself because of this success of somebody and because of how wrong I was, and that's James Conner's success. You bet on yourself and you lost, Le'Veon Bell, because James Conner, and it's evident in this stat more than anything, check it out. NFL research. So this isn't Mike Asti's research, and this isn't wrong. James Conner has 100+ rush yards and 2+ rushing touchdowns for the third time this year. Against the Bengals, 100+ again, hit 3 TDs in the game, has 7, I believe, on the year. One more, and he'll hit that mark that I have with a colleague where he thought he would have 8 this year. I didn't think that was going to happen, definitely not happen, and I'm already wrong midway through the season. Le'Veon Bell has 100+ rush yards and 2+ rushing TDs in 3 games overall in his career. So something that Le'Veon Bell's done in his career, James Conner's equaled in these 6 games that he's played. And there were some games that he was a bit off, sure, but there also was games where he was certainly replacing Le'Veon's production, if not more. He's done it as a runner. He's done it as a receiver. He's found his way into the end zone. He has the teammates around him. Big Ben wants him to still see action whenever Le'Veon returns, I'm assuming now in Week 11. And I don't know still if James Conner's the guy for the future, if he can replace Le'Veon Bell next year or the year after that. I still would prefer James Conner as more of a complimentary back. That would still be more ideal, even if you still put him in the end zone and give him some of those tough carries in the red zone. But the explosiveness, the athleticism, the talent that is Le'Veon Bell, and maybe one of the best running backs in football over the last few years, when healthy, when on the field. Now there's a sense of, was that overrated? Because they won when he wasn't there. they lost when he was there at times. He's faced suspensions. He's faced injuries. He's not been consistently on the field. And James Conner has faced injuries, did face injuries. Last year was marred by injuries. Was supposed to be his rookie campaign in the NFL. We know his history in college with his illness and missing games there. But it isn't as if Le'Veon Bell's this Cal Ripken for the NFL or this Brett Favre Iron Man streak. That's not going to happen for Le'Veon Bell either. And a lot of that's his own doing for just sheer stupidity. So Le'Veon Bell bet on himself and lost, namely because James Conner has replaced him adequately, exceptionally, and well exceeded my expectations and many others. The future still remains to be seen, but it remains to be seen even for Le'Veon Bell too, because he wants the bag. He wants the money. He doesn't want to kill himself or risk his body without the bag and without the money. He's definitely not getting it from the Steelers. He's gone after this year, if not traded before. He's still not there at the bye. When he will return, we don't know. Probably at the limit of after Week 10. But as sands go through the hourglass, these are still Le'Veon Bell's days away from the Pittsburgh Steelers. And no, I cannot confirm whether he was at a South Side get-go. We didn't know where he was for a few days. Wasn't with the Steelers, wasn't at the facility. And I cannot confirm, as the Yins are out there told the media, cannot confirm if he was at a Southside get-go or not. I wasn't there. It's a good get-go, but I can't confirm whether he was there or not. And saw some Twitter pictures of guys saying they spot him in Miami. He's been in Miami in the offseason, sure. He's been in Miami during the season when he's not played, sure. He's had his fun, and according to TMZ in a previous show of mine, he's been at some strip clubs making it rain when his teammates were on the football field. But that picture was back in July, a guy trying to get some Twitter fame. Unfortunately, some colleagues in the media fell for it. You got to be smarter. This is a soap opera with Le'Veon Bell, so we almost got to handle it as such. And again, as sand goes through the hourglass, these are Le'Veon Bell's days still away from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Make sure subscribe to us on YouTube. Subscribe to us on the YouTube channel at Pittsburgh Sports Live. Follow us on Twitter at PGH Sports Live, making it easy for us to get the content to you, both ways, of course, but namely, subscribe to us there on the YouTube channel. And a quick plug for me, because I'm me. Follow me at Mike Asti 11 on Twitter for more of this Radio Gold. This has been another Radio Gold edition here. This is a Steelers short Radio Golden edition, soap opera-like, of Le'Veon Bell's life away and his soap opera existence away from the Pittsburgh Steelers here on Pittsburgh Sports Live.